Hello, welcome back to another video. Today we are in a different location because I am redoing my office and the usual spot for filming is not available. The other thing is we're having a very gloomy day, so the lighting might not be great in this video, so I apologize for that as well. This thing here in the background is my desk chair covered with my electric blanket, which is currently on because it's not a great day for me. So in today's video, we're going to be discussing if fibromyalgia is real. Now, if you want the short answer, it is yes, obviously, but I want to talk about kind of where I think this topic even comes from and why it's even an issue for some people. And I want to talk about kind of what I think makes people not believe it. And I don't necessarily have answers for what we should do about it, but I feel like understanding where things come from helps us deal with them better. Sometimes what we need to change a situation is not change the other people involved in the situation, but change the way that we view it and the way that we are positioning ourselves in that situation. In my experience, there are two types of people who won't believe you and who will raise this issue for you. And the first type is regular, everyday people who you will meet, be it family members, friends, co-workers, the lady at the supermarket, whatever. People who you meet who are not educated in the medical field. And then medical professionals, specifically doctors, who will challenge the belief that fibromyalgia is real. So I feel like doctors doing this is a lot worse than regular people doing this, but I feel like it stems from different situations as well, so in different reasons. So that's why I think it's important to separate these two, because I feel like it will be dealt with in a different way. So I want to talk first about regular, everyday, normal people who will challenge whether or not fibromyalgia is real or whether or not you have it, the accuracy of your diagnosis, etc.
Hi, editing Olga here. Basically, I made this video way longer than I meant to, so it's going to be split into two parts. In this first part, I will talk about regular people, and in the next one, I will talk about medical professionals, and that will come next week.
A huge part of the problem is that fibromyalgia is a very unknown condition still. It's kind of a faceless monster because we know what it does, kind of, and we know the effects it has on the body, but we don't really understand why they're happening or how or what causes them, and we don't really know where they're happening in the brain. So it's very hard for doctors and for scientists and researchers to understand what is going on in our bodies, and therefore there's no information for us to go off of. And I feel like when there's lack of information, people in general just find more loopholes and more theories and stuff, whereas if something is proven, there is a lot less space for people to not believe you. I will remind you though that still things that have been proven to be, normal or to be in a certain way, there are still people out there who will not believe those and think that that evidence is fabricated. So there will always be people who don't believe stuff. That I don't think has anything to do with you. It has something to do with them. And I'm going to give you the example of flat earthers. So people who believe the earth is flat, even though we have abundant evidence to prove that it isn't, there are still people out there who believe the earth is flat. Even if fibromyalgia was like, we knew everything there was to know about it, there would still be people who don't believe it. And I think something else that we do incorrectly in our community is we take this very personally. We think that when people don't believe that fibromyalgia is real or that we specifically have that illness, when people have all of these opinions about your life and about your medical conditions, I think more often than not, it's not about not believing that person. It's not that they don't trust my judgment. It's not that they think I'm lying or making it up. I think that's what we take it very personally, and I don't think we should, because although there are scenarios and certain situations where it is personal, I think most of the time it's not. I think people in general, especially healthy people, are not comfortable with illness, and they're not comfortable with the concept of death. And I think humans in general, we enjoy patterns, we enjoy routines, and when I say we, I mean our brains. Our brains enjoy finding patterns in things, even if they're not there. And we try to rationalize things, and we try to break things down to make sense, and we try to find sense and meaning in things, even if there are no meanings and no sense in those things. If you pair that with the fear of talking about death and the discomfort that people have with illness and with loss of, capabilities and stuff like that, when people are faced, especially with younger people who are sick and who did nothing to get sick. So I didn't, ride a motorcycle or do anything dangerous. I didn't go bungee jumping. I had a very healthy lifestyle. I ate well. I did a lot of exercise. I slept well. Like, I did all of the things right. So how come I'm sick? So I think whenever something challenges that, people just are uncomfortable with that, and they don't want to accept that this happened to somebody they know, and that this was something that was completely out of your control to happen to you. If you get sick because of something you did, like if you have lung cancer but you were a smoker, I think even though it's still bad, I think people kind of rationalize that and they think, oh, okay, so they got lung cancer because they smoked. So I don't smoke, so I'm fine. I'm not gonna get lung cancer. And it doesn't always work like that. And of course that you can have certain behaviors that make you more prone to sickness and to certain illnesses, but there are illnesses like mine that just pop up and that just show up, and that one day you just wake up sick and you never get better, and there's no cure and there's no fixing it. And I think that troubles a lot of people. So I think when you say that you have an incurable illness that there's not a lot of information about, and that just showed up one day and you did nothing to deserve it, it forces people to face their mortality. It forces people to face their fear that this might happen to them. We always try to convince ourselves that this is not going to happen to you, because it's dangerous to talk on your phone while you're driving. But you always think it's not going to happen to me because I'm paying attention, I'm being careful. And we always think things are not going to happen to us, that they're always going to knock on somebody else's door. That's not always true. Sometimes it will knock on your door. I think it forces people to really take a hard look at their choices and what happens to them and how careless they might be with certain situations. And I think that makes people really uncomfortable. Either people walk away from you and drift away from you because it makes them uncomfortable, or the other option they have is to just assume that you're lying, or that you're faking it, or that you are somehow exaggerating or not telling the whole truth, or that you're not trying hard enough to cure yourself, or that you just haven't gone to the right doctor, you're not eating the right foods, you're not doing the right treatment. Because for some people, it's just very hard to accept that there is no cure, and that you just have, if you're in the situation, you are powerless to change it. Especially when it's none of their business and it bothers other people. It's not about you. If something that is happening to you is bothering somebody else, it's not about you. It's about something that is bothering them and that they are projecting onto you somehow. So I feel like a lot of the time when people say that you're lying, or that you're faking, or that it mustn't be this illness, or you're not trying hard enough, all of this, I feel like it's probably because they're insecure about something. And this is a reflection, they're seeing a reflection of themselves, and they're seeing what would happen to them. And we always like to think that we would do better in that situation. But the truth is, I don't know what I would do in a different situation because I've never been in that situation. It's very easy for us with hindsight, or for us when we're not in the situation, to have opinions and to say what we would do differently. But it's very hard when you are in this position, because things are not as simple as we think they are. Healthcare systems are not designed to take care of us, even though that's what you assume they're for, but that's not what they're for. The mistake that we make is that we make it about ourselves, and we think that people think that you are lying, like you individually, like I'm the one who's lying. When in truth, what they're trying to say is, I can't believe this happened, and I just, instead of facing it and instead of being a mature adult and dealing with that by myself in a healthy manner, I'm going to take it out on you. That's what's happening, in my opinion, in most cases. Of course, if you're a reliable person and you've lied a lot in the past and you've made up a lot of stuff in the past to get away with things, and now suddenly you're sick, I'm not saying you're not. I'm just saying, like, I understand that some people might not believe you in that scenario because, boy who cried wolf kind of thing. But most of us weren't compulsive liars, So it's very stupid to generalize that, 4% of the population, which is about the percentage of people in the world who have fibromyalgia, is about 4% of the population. it's very silly to assume that 4% of the population is just making like this elaborate lie up. We're just like scheming together to make up this lie and then get nothing in return except, you know, less friends and a worse social life and less money. I don't know, like what do we have to gain from this? Another aspect of this, I think, is that people have preconceived notions and ideas of what the world is and what their society is like, and they have like very firm ideas of what things are like, of what is real and what isn't, based on their experiences. So we see society in a more positive or negative light based on our experiences. So what happens is people who haven't experienced sickness and who haven't experienced this kind of chronic illness that we experience, where we don't have a cure and the treatments are really hard and there's not really a lot we can do and we just kind of trudge along and have to accept it and live like this. Most people haven't experienced that. They haven't experienced it themselves, or they haven't seen anybody close to them experience that. Or when they have, most of it has been in old age, and that is something that we, for some reason, separate completely. So most people don't know somebody young who's very sick. What they know of sickness and healthcare is what they see on TV shows and doctor shows and things like that, and what they assume would be what the government would do to take care of us. Those things that we see on TV are a very poor representation of what actually happens in real life to people with chronic illnesses. Most people create these preconceived notions of what is happening in the world and kind of a picture of what they think society is like, and they think everything is in this kind of neat little frame that they've created based on their experiences. When something goes against that, it's kind of like a domino effect. If one of these things is wrong, then all of them might be wrong. And people don't want to have that happen to them. People don't want to stop believing that things are the way they are. Why would they lie? I think that's what is missing from this conversation, is why would they make that up? Why would they lie? What benefit would they get from that? And more importantly, why is it that you assume firsthand that they're going to lie to you and that they are making this up? Why is it that your first assumption is that the other person is lying? Is there something that you don't want to confront? I think that's important to think about. I feel like for the most part, if you understand that it's not a personal insult, it's honestly more about them than it is about you, I think that really helps you not take it as seriously. What I do is, whenever people are lecturing me about it, is I just let them talk. I let them say what they want to say and give their opinion about this thing that they've never experienced, and I'm the first person they ever met with this. But I let them talk, I let them say their piece, and then I go away, and then I never think about that again. And that's it. People think that they know better and that they know what they would do in your situation, and honestly, it's really not that easy. That is everything that I want to talk about today. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Let me know what experiences you've had, what your experiences are. I'm always interested in hearing other people's perspective and what they've experienced. And obviously, as always, my videos are about my perspective and my beliefs and my opinions and my experiences. So obviously, I can't speak on behalf of other people. All I can tell you is what I have lived and what I have experienced firsthand, and also what I have been told by other people with the same condition as me. So yes, that is it. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you have suggestions for future videos, please also leave those below, because I'm always looking for new ideas of things to talk about. That is everything that I have to say. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please don't forget to leave it a like and a comment, and consider subscribing to my channel if you have not done that already. I make videos about fibromyalgia and coping with it and dealing with it, and honestly, just living with it. Sometimes there's not advice. Sometimes we're just talking about it. Now that is everything that I have to say. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!